Think back to a time when you were younger, a time in your youth where you made a mistake. We've all made them. Now imagine that error in judgment would define the rest of your life. Imagine that a mistake you made in your 20s or even your teens would haunt you for the rest of your life. Sadly, this is currently how some states are treating former prisoners. The crimes they committed are haunting them, even after they've served their sentence. We are denying these former prisoners the right to vote. So we must ask ourselves, is it fair to strip these men and women of their rights even after their sentence is served? The answer is simple, no. As human beings, we are programmed to make mistakes. We're not perfect, hence we should be allowed to make mistakes and be given a second chance. I've done extensive research on propositions like Proposition 17 that will allow these formerly incarcerated persons the right to vote in California. Hopefully this knowledge on the matter will translate and allow you to understand the significance of this issue and of the propositions. From my speech, I hope you will learn about the corruptness of the prison system and that by allowing formerly incarcerated persons to vote, we will be restoring justice to those who deserve it. I will discuss why it is so important that we allow every 18-year-old American the right to vote, how we are allowing bias to seep into our democratic systems by denying these former prisoners, and by allowing them to vote, we will have a better representation of our country as a whole. When one commits a crime, they are tried, sentenced, and detained. A number is placed on the severity of their crime. Whoever has committed it is forced to serve their sentence. After they've served their time and rehabilitated, they should be allowed a second chance. However, this is not how our prison systems function. When people are sent to jail, they are forced to face the repercussions of their actions. They serve their time, and once their time is up, they're released back into society. However, when these former prisoners are released back into society, they are stripped of their right to vote. This seems unfair because if we deem them fit to reclaim their freedom, they should reclaim everything that comes with the freedom in America, including their right to vote. According to Justice Earl Warren, citizenship is not a right that expires upon misbehavior. Hence, as the justice states, every American is deserving of their rights as an American citizen, even if they've made mistakes in the past, and especially if they've endured their punishment for these mistakes. By allowing prisoners the right to vote, we're substantiating our prison systems and exemplifying that by giving prisoners the opportunity to redeem themselves and rehabilitate, they're allowed a second chance in society. It's clearly unjust to deprive Americans of their rights as citizens. However, it's even more unjust to do so in order to target and deprive a certain community. If we allow prisoners the right to vote, it will increase the accuracy of the representation of our country. Previously, the voice of former prisoners were not being represented in government. But if we allow the former prisoners to vote, the voices of those who were formerly incarcerated will be heard. This population of prisoners on parole is overwhelmingly minorities. According to Horowitz of the Pew Research Center, 1 in 23 parolees are African American. This goes to show that a great majority of our population is being underrepresented. If we allow these parolees to vote, it will allow the Black community to have a more exemplary role in the decisions in our government. The Black vote is being underrepresented by these institutional voting restrictions. Right now, we are suppressing the votes of the Black community, and this must be rectified. In every election, it is important that every American has their views recognized in government. The form of voter suppression has limited specific communities of their right to vote, and the reasoning behind this is that we're supposedly saving our democracy from these dangerous ex-cons. However, this could not be farther from the truth. Those who disapprove of rectifying this voter suppression believe in the ex-con stereotype. They believe these former prisoners are dangerous, malicious, and shouldn't be trusted with the right to vote. However, according to Eisen of Time magazine, nearly half of prisoners are in prison for nonviolent offenses, and 39% of prisoners shouldn't even be there in the first place. And according to the voter guide, the concerns that opposers have are that it will allow criminals convicted of murder, rape, and child molestation to vote before paying their debt to society. I understand these concerns, and it may be worrisome to know that those who were capable of serious crimes will make decisions for our country. However, if these felons are being allowed to vote, it means that they've committed a crime that has a sentence that was short enough to be served. It's a known fact that violent criminals receive a life sentence if they're threatening enough. Hence, if these prisoners are released, they haven't committed a crime serious enough to have a life sentence. It is also vital to say that these former prisoners have served their time. These prisoners are rehabilitated, and if we don't deem them fit to reclaim their rights, we're invalidating our prison systems. It is so vital that we allow every 18-year-old to cast their vote, since it is their right as an American. By allowing these formerly incarcerated people to vote, we will substantiate our prison systems by proving our system is rehabilitating these prisoners. They've served their time, and their debt has been repaid to society. Therefore, their rights should be restored. These former prisoners have an unjust bias dictating their life choices, and by allowing these deserving Americans the right to vote, we will better represent our country. As a society, we have validated a system that has prevented a great majority of deserving citizens from voting. No more. It is so important that we allow each registered voter in California the right to vote, even if they've made mistakes in their past. Evidence proves that most of these former prisoners being denied their rights committed a forgivable crime. Therefore, we should allow them a second chance. These parolees have served their time and they're fit to re-enter society, so they should be trusted to cast their ballot. We must give these men and women their right to vote and stop committing unforgivable injustices against democracy. Thank you.